experience weird things. I just called the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That's what I have it saved up under stalking, and they hung up. You can see that arrow 4 minutes ago. If my phone is not being controlled, why do I have such a hard time with people hanging up on me all over the United States and playing games? So I'll call again. I was on hold all this time, and then they just hung up. And the Social Security Administration did that dozens and dozens of times. They're doing better since I'm recording now, but they wanted the experience to be traumatic, so they would be rude intentionally on purpose. So they would be rude and disregard me and then hang up after I've been on hold multiple times and different things of that sort. I'm sorry, your name is Cassandra?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what did I call?
This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
Okay. I'm in a decent place to talk. It's as safe as I'll give.
Okay. So,
You said tell you what's going on. I have some questions. May I know your position, what you do on this line?
mhm.
What is your job responsibility on this hotline?
Okay, well, we talk to people who are in abusive situations or know someone else who may be in such a situation about what they're going through, give them some of the benefit of our knowledge, connect them with local resources, talk about safety, things of that nature.
Okay. So you give them resources. I have a question. So if I met someone online that said that they were going to date me online, I've heard multiple parties say that that's not domestic violence. They were stalking, and I've had assaults that I believe that individual had set up, and false arrest. So what would that be considered? What's a correct terminology to describe someone that you dated online stalking you and setting up false arrest, harassment, and other abuse?
Okay, how are they harassing you, man? What's going on?
Oh, I guess you disregarded what I just said on the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
I
If
did
they are
not
stalking,
understand them.
okay. If I met someone online and dated someone online that was stalking me, set up multiple false arrests, assaults, and other abuse and harassment, are you there on the National
Mhm.
Domestic Violence Hotline?
Yes, ma'am. If you're being abused and harassed, that is definitely domestic violence, whether it's happened by online dating or any other way.
Okay, well, I'm glad that did get clarity this time on the Domestic Violence Hotline. Okay, if all of that is going on, I'm blacklisted from services too. The police have showed up in all the local organizations. I went to the location in Tyler. Do you know? I can't think of it right now. Let me look up that name of it. Okay, yes, it was the East Texas Crisis Center. And they also, they were kind of mistreated me and denied me services there for assistance. And I was arrested at New Beginnings in Garland for attending the support group by Garland Police. And I was also arrested at the Texas Rangers trying to report my abuse there. I was handcuffed at the FBI trying to report the abuse and my stalker there. And threatened by police and Homeland Security. And the same Homeland Security person was stalking me before, previously, at the West End before
Okay,
police
so
started guarding it like Fort Knox.
why were you arrested at the New Beginnings Center, ma'am?
For attending a support group. Are you quite sure that this is domestic violence hotline? And he also breaks into my phone, controls my calls, and counterfeits calls. So when I'm begging for help on my phone, I never get it. And people hang up in my place, play games, sabotage assistance. And I went to AT&T. The police were there waiting. Metro PCS is playing games, denying me technical support, which I've never heard of cell phone providers being enlisted to hack a cell phone network, which is a crime, but they're doing it and enforcing it. The police department and the government's enforcing it. You're not bothered?
You were for services at a domestic violence agency and you were arrested. What were you arrested for?
Criminal trespass, but I mean, we're kind of disregarding and all over the place because I'm trying to give you the volume of the abuse. Do you think that this is an amazing situation? Or, you get a lot of stories like this?
No, I haven't heard a story quite like that, ma'am. Uh, why were they denying you services? You were denied services at New Beginnings in East Texas Crisis Center.
Yes, these calls are really long and drawn out a lot of the time because people are disregard what I'm saying and play games. Can we get into the education and the support part of your responsibility, your job title and responsibility?
Oh, ma'am, I'm trying to understand what's happened here.
Okay, because what
Uh,
has happened for years is people could play games and have me on hold a long time and play games to try to counterfeit calls when their intention is to get all this feedback and prolong the call and then not accomplish anything. And since that's been done for years, I'm trying to intervene in that pattern and actually get the assistance in the
what
response.
kind of services are you looking for, ma'am?
Well, I would like for you to use your education for the National Domestic Hotline because there's a pattern of people asking me what I need, knowing full blown well I don't know the services.
Mhm. Okay.
And what's your name
Well,
again? What's your name again?
to give
What's your name?
is Sandra, ma'am.
What's your name?
To give you,
Your
it is
name.
Cassandra.
Okay.
To give you, to give you feedback on your situation, I need to understand what your situation is.
So all of the events I just described, I've been on hold. This is the first time they hung up, and all that information I just gave you is not enough for you.
Um, well, you told me that you've been denied services at several agencies.
I had multiple false arrests. I had someone pull a gun on me. I've been ran off the road, locked on the dark train, while the locked for multiple stops that they where the door was supposed to be opening when I got threatened. I've been pickpocketed. My bank denied me funds. I had food stamps stolen. I had money stolen out of my account. I had my card
Who is doing
controlled.
these things, ma'am?
I'm sorry.
Who is doing these things?
The stalker, I believe his name is Jason.
Okay.
Seen him stalking me
Someone
in
you met
person.
online?
Yes, and I've seen him stalking me in person in Itasca. And then he
Okay.
started having a lot of other people doing it, and then tried to blend it in more. I don't recall seeing him stalking me after that. I'm not aware, but he's probably done it. But from that point on, he started having other multitude of other people do it, like a gang of stalkers.
Okay. So, and this was someone you dated online?
Yes, yes. I mean, on these calls, they will talk a long time about the experience, and we just really don't get a sound, bearing of the support and resources. So, if you don't
Okay.
mind, I would like to get into that since I've been deprived of that for years on the National
Okay.
Domestic
What kind of
Violence Hotline.
resources are you needing, ma'am?
We're going into the same pattern again, ma'am. If this is the National Domestic Violence Hotline and you heard all this chaos, and that your responsibility is to advocate for people and give them resources from what you hear, why would you deprive me of that service?
I'm not attempting to deprive you of anything, ma'am. I'm trying to understand what your situation is. And
Well, I do have my own shelter
don't
now.
have,
It was denied for years. I do have my own shelter, but I like for advocacy and safety when there's law enforcement and multiple other parties involved in the abuse.
okay. So we deal with intimate partner abuse, ma'am. What you're describing seems to be something else, something beyond that. You're saying that multiple people have been involved. You're saying that the law enforcement has been involved, the phone company. I'm not going to know what to tell you about those things when I don't know what resources to point you in the direction of. Um, you have tried to get services from several domestic violence agencies, and they projected you, or you said you were actually arrested at one point. I can give you some other numbers in the Dallas area where you could get services, for intimate partner abuse.
Intimate partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is
Would you
going?
like
What is the
me?
me? Oh, I don't. It's hard.
Would you like me to
I like to
give
finish
you some of
talking.
those numbers now?
What is the Me Too movement?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Me Too, that movement?
Mm-hmm. You're asking what is it?
Yes.
Well, it is, as I understand it, it's a movement of women who have been sharing their experiences online especially about sexual violence, but about other violence as well.
Okay, they share their experiences online. The reason I think it's problematic because you call and you call and you call and you call and you spend countless amount of times for people to pretend like they're giving you service and helping you, and their whole objective is to deny you from services and education, and then try to pretend to other parties that it's an authentic, legitimate call. But when after you go through it from year after year after year, you discover a pattern.
I am gonna have to take some other calls. Okay.
I think I've had you speak to me before, ma'am, and I'm not quite sure. She hung up. She's off my phone. She hung up. 12 minutes, almost 12 minutes for this chaos. It was like I said, I'm recording this and they're aware. Can you imagine how out of control it was when I wasn't recording and how abusive they were? That's why I absolutely knew. CPS workers don't go off on you and you're reporting all kind of crime, call you 2 or 3 times a day and harass you. And then you go to the police department to report it and show evidence I recorded some of them calls. What does the police department do? Cover for it and give me a criminal trespass from the whole police department so I can't report any other criminal activity. I go to another one because I was, had people doing all kinds of things that you wouldn't believe, mistreating me at the Tyler Salvation Army and a whole bunch of other crazy things, trying to run me off the road in that location. I tried to get an attorney in Tyler. Police came, security interrupted that. So I had all this chaos going on. So I went to another police department in Tyler, and they said it was the criminal trespass was for all Tyler police departments, and that's where I was staying, going through all this chaos. They were so corrupt and arrogant. They just said we're going to give her a criminal trespass from the local police department so she can't report the abuse she experienced.